Something is happening with Kofi and Austin Creed, and at this point, I don't know how much clearer the signs can get. They're free agents. They're appearing under their post-WWE names. They're booked for Chris Jericho's wrestling cruise, and now Kofi has filed trademarks for his real name and the initials KSM. Wait, why would all of this be happening at the exact same time? Because the latest report says Kofi and Austin Creed are expected to join AU soon. Not confirmed. Expected. And that distinction matters. But trust me, we're going to talk about why AU is starting to look like the obvious destination. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Wrestling Realm Unplugged. I'm James, and today, we're talking about Kofi Kingston and Austin Creed, the two men we knew for years as two-thirds of the New Day, because their post-WWE future is starting to look very interesting. Kofi and Austin became free agents at the beginning of August after their WWE departures, and now, barely 2 weeks later, we're getting report after report suggesting that EU could be their next home. Fightful reported on August 12 that while sources wouldn't outright confirm they've signed with EU, people within the wrestling world expect them to join the company soon. And then, things got even more interesting. If you've been following them since leaving WWE, you've probably noticed something immediately. Xavier Woods is now Austin Creed. Kofi Kingston is being promoted simply as Kofi. And that makes perfect sense. WWE owns the New Day branding, so these two are entering whatever comes next as themselves. Austin has used the Creed name for years outside WWE, especially through Up Up Down Down, while Kofi is his real first name. But then Kofi did something that really caught people's attention. On August 11, he filed trademarks for Kofi, Sarkodie Mensah, and Kesem. And these aren't trademarks for some random business idea. They're connected to wrestling performances, wrestling entertainment, appearances, merchandise, and related services. So, Kofi is preparing to control his own identity outside WWE. That's important. Now let's add another piece. On August 11, Kofi and Austin Creed were announced for Chris Jericho's Rock N Wrestling Rager at Sea. They're being advertised as supermassive guest captains. And yes, Jericho is an U star. Does appearing on Jericho's cruise automatically mean they're signing with U? Absolutely not. There are plenty of wrestlers who appear on wrestling cruises without becoming U wrestlers. But when you combine this with everything else, yeah, I'm paying attention. Because they're free agents, they're building their post-WWE identities. Kofi is filing wrestling trademarks, and they're now appearing on an event heavily connected to one of EU's biggest names. That's a lot of smoke. EU has been interested. And this isn't a brand new rumor. EU's interest in Kofi and Austin has been discussed for months. Tony Khan previously called them great wrestlers when asked about the possibility of bringing them in, although he couldn't comment on their status while they were under WWE contracts. There has also been reporting that people within EU wanted the company to sign them. Now they're actually available. That's the difference. Before, EU could want them all day. It didn't matter. WWE had them. Now, they're on the market. And suddenly we're hearing that they're expected to join EU soon. That's not confirmation. But it's certainly more interesting than random fan speculation. So when do they show up? This is where things get fun. EU All in London is coming up on August 30, and wrestling fans have already started connecting Kofi and Austin to the event. There are even theories that they could become part of Swerve Strickland's plans. And honestly, I can see why. Swerve has already been involved in the latest EU storyline involving potential partners, and fans immediately started wondering whether Kofi and Austin could be the two guys he's bringing in. But let's be careful. There is no official announcement that Kofi and Austin will debut at All In, so don't walk into the comments saying James told you it's confirmed. I didn't. I'm telling you what we know. And what we know is that AU is reportedly expecting them soon. That makes All In an obvious possibility, not a guarantee. Imagine that AU tag division. And this is where I actually get excited. Because Kofi and Austin don't need to spend their first 6 months in EU explaining who they are. Everybody knows. They've spent more than a decade proving themselves. Kofi is a former WWE champion. The New Day became one of WWE's most successful tag teams. Austin Creed has spent years developing his own personality and creative identity outside wrestling. Now imagine putting those two into AU's tag division. Fifter, the Young Bucks, Motor City Machine Guns, and whatever other combinations EU can create. That's a lot of matches. And there's another possibility that I really want to see. Kenny Omega. Austin and Kenny already have a history through gaming and their personalities outside the ring. Imagine Austin showing up in EU and immediately getting involved with Kenny. James is telling you right now, I would watch that. If you're still watching, you clearly care about what's actually happening instead of just clicking on another breaking news thumbnail. So hit the like button, subscribe to Wrestling Realm Unplugged, and let's get back to it. Because we're not done yet. Don't call it confirmed yet. This is the one thing I don't want to get lost. Kofi and Austin have not officially been announced as EU wrestlers. The latest report says they're expected to join soon. That's different from saying they've signed. And wrestling fans know how quickly rumors can turn into facts online. One report becomes 10 tweets. 10 tweets become a YouTube thumbnail. And suddenly somebody's debuting at Dynamite even though they're sitting at home. So let's keep the facts straight. They left WWE. They're free agents. They're using their own names. Kofi filed new wrestling-related trademarks. They're booked for Jericho's cruise. And credible reporting says EU is expected to be their next destination. That's where we are. And honestly, that's enough to make me very interested in what's coming next. For years, we knew these guys as the New Day. But that chapter is over. Big E is still doing his thing. Kofi and Austin are now free to decide what comes next. And AU looks like the most likely answer. If they do show up in AU, though, I don't want a lazy nostalgia debut. I want them thrown straight into the fire. Give me Kofi and Austin Creed against a top tag team. Give them a real story. Let them show everybody that they're not just former WWE stars looking for another paycheck. They're still wrestlers. And they've got something to prove. So here's my question. If Kofi and Austin Creed sign with you, who should be their first major opponents? The Young Bucks? Fifter? Motor City Machine Guns? Or somebody completely different? Pick one. And if you enjoyed the video, hit like and subscribe to Wrestling Realm Unplugged. I'm James, and I'll catch you in the next one.